There's a hidden problem inside of most growing businesses. And the strange thing is, most people don't even realize that it's actually happening. At first, everything seems fine. You've got tools, you've got systems, you've got software, you've got dashboards, you've got pretty CRMs to help you go and do stuff, you've got accounting software, you've got project management tools, spreadsheets, so on. But slowly over time, something begins to happen. At some point, you realize your business has become a patchwork of a bunch of tools that barely talk together. And if they do, they're over reliant on things like Zapier, Make, Init to make them work and sing together. And even then, that doesn't even work exactly in the way that you wanted, not to mention the added costs that come with that as your business grows. So eventually, your business starts bending itself around the software you're using to make you do your day to day activities instead of the other way around, which is really the whole point of software in the first place, is it not? To us, that's a hidden piece that people consistently seem to forget. And with the latest changes and improvements in the world of AI, automation, development, and the access to untold knowledge and capabilities, you now have an opportunity in front of you to rid of so much junk and bloat in your organization and have something that truly is optimized around what you do, how you do it, and why, so you can do things better, faster, more efficiently than ever before. But before we jump into that, we got to think through about the systematic problem and how it typically starts. Most companies typically start in a very simple, unworryful place, right? You're like, oh, you might have a CRM to track your leads, or QuickBooks for your accounting, or a project management tool to help you understand the day to day tasks and responsibilities of you, your team, and maybe a few spreadsheets. The cool thing is, those tools and those platforms do solve a unique problem at each stage in which they're being implemented. It's great in the beginning because you don't have workflows, you don't have process, you don't have a clear order of your operation. There's an important catch. Every one of these tools creates a unique, independent data silo. You have information stuck in a place, and now if you needed to go somewhere else, you need to consistently be able to access that singular point and feed it to everywhere else. This becomes the start as a systemic problem of fragmented data, incomplete data, tons of micro actions across multiple tools and systems and softwares and spreadsheets. Then, as your business grows, this just compounds. A new employee comes in, they see an old spreadsheet, they don't like how it's done, so they make a new one. However, the old one was still connected to a variety of tools. So you have a legacy automation or a process, and then you have a new legacy process, and this just keeps scaling itself outwardly. At the foundation, this just looks like business. But in reality, this is a scaling labor issue where people are having to be forced into workflows of manual work or tedious processes, leading them to build like overblown SOP on how to do different types of tasks or work. And you'll find that if you had to distill everything that was being done, you could actually have done it in 3 steps. However, because we've got so many tools and systems and legacy workflows, it's now a 45-step process to do what should be. And this all starts from the fact that we have isolated ourselves into a bunch of tiny tools. And then once we get to a certain point of capacity, we become overwhelmed and we need to automate or we want to streamline. And instead of doing what we can do now, we're still very used to the mentality of us having to create a whole new process or something that just like forces all of the tools that we're using to like just speak to each other. Platforms like Make, N8N, Zapier, they've all done a great job of doing that. But the big limiting factor is as you implement those systems more and more, the cost and inefficiency of those tools scales huge. You can easily have hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month bills just for those platforms, not including the existing tools and softwares you're already paying for. What's a better option compared to forcing like Make, N8N, Zapier to just have a workflow that integrates these systems that we've created processes for? But before we dive into that, I want to key into one of the more frustrating aspects of today's current model, the way that people think about how they should be adding new tools and systems into their organization. See, Most people assume like the biggest cost here is going to be software or like these recurring subscriptions. Yes, that is a big cost. And many of you are probably paying thousands of dollars a month just for that. But truly, the hidden cost in all of this is that by having your business spread across tons of internal tools and systems and little processes and Excel sheets, you are spending a ton of money each month on the hidden cost of your team operationally having to, as I just stated, these things break. The costs and inefficiencies of them are apparent. Yes, they'll automate something, but they will break over time as technology updates and needs changed. But disregarding that, the time your employees and your team are spending in between each and every one of these tools is a hidden measure that is hard for most to really quantify how much time in the day an employee is spending clicking buttons between a variety of tools to ensure that data has been properly moved from one place to the next so that someone else can continue their step in the process. We could assume confidently that the average employee probably spends 30 to 40% of their day doing just actions within your existing tools and software. Every time that they're doing that, the more time they have to spend in that platform or these tools, less time you have actually directly related to revenue generating opportunity. And at the end of the day, you're running your business to provide opportunity to yourself, to your friends, to your family, to your employees, and to the growth of the organization with the vision that you have. It's not about how do I just make people busy, right? And so if we don't want to just make people busy to make them busy, what we want to do is ensure that we have systems and software platforms, right, or tools that are actually being built around how each of our employees and our organization runs so that there isn't the need for a ton of individual steps. Maybe a person can go from doing 10 steps to officially doing one, and they can spend more time doing the thing that matters, maybe interacting with your customers or interacting with potential leads or getting in front of people and starting new conversations or maintaining current relationships and so on, right? The things that they actually need to be doing is what really matters here. So, how do we get there? We believe that one of the most ideal ways to start executing this is by having your own internal tool and system that is truly a operating layer around the way that you work. And what I mean by that is, when we talked earlier about you have a ton of tools and systems and you're trying to interconnect them across platforms like Make or N8N or Zapier. Well, the reason you're even doing that is because the platforms that you've aggregated or you've collected, we'll call it, over the years, don't do all of the actions that you want. And so you're jumping from step one, integrating, jumping to step two, integrating, jumping to step three, and so on until a version of your desired workflow is complete. What we have found is that a better way to approach this is to actually just have your own individual system. What that means is going through, working with a team or taking the time to document and aggregate your current processes and put together a vision of what your business should have. Like, okay, I've got HubSpot, but what do I really need HubSpot for? Is it the CRM? Is it the lead management functionality? Is it the sales functionality? Do I need it to create deals or proposals or invoice? How do I need this to integrate with QuickBooks, right? Or do I need it as a payment processor? Do I need it for landing pages or marketing? As you go through this process, you'll find that it can do certain things, but really you might only need it for 3. And then let's go through your next tool and you do the same thing. And so then what you end up coming away from after looking at all of your current tools and systems is the feature set of what you truly need. And maybe that is, honestly, you look at it and you're like, I'm paying $4,000 a month across all of these tools, but really I'm only needing 10% of the feature set of what all of these platforms are having and what I'm paying. So if you're able to clearly identify what it is that you truly need or have someone help you to identify clearly what it is that you truly need versus what you're paying for, you can go through and have an updated system that can truly replace all of those tools and allow you to have something that is 100% aligned to what you do, how you do it, when you need to do it, and what it needs to do time and time again. And what's even cooler is it's one contained system. I own everything. It's my data. It's my information. I have full control of how it's built, how it's integrated, how I can connect it to anything else that I do want to connect it to. And my cost operationally is absurdly low. Even better, I'm able to integrate my own AI into this and allow it to provide me predictive analytics and insights that owned platforms like HubSpot, Make, Zapier, Pipedrive, whatever have they limit what I'm able to do. Whereas when it's my platform, my system, my data, my ownership, I can do whatever. That is the future that a true operator should be looking towards, because the future of business is not just the work that you do, but the data you have and the digital frameworks you've got around your business and how you're executing it. It is your strategic advantage on how you can operate better than your competitors at scale. And that means that at scale, you're going to be doing substantially better than all of your competition. So if you want to understand how you can go about starting to use or building your own internal tools and systems, stay along. I'll come through and I'll put together more content as we progress, but feel free to put down your comments or questions below about what is that? How does this work? How do you really create a true system that is honestly worth removing an enterprise level platform that my team has learned to know and love? Well, I can tell you, and I promise you, it is here and now that you're able to remove those tools and you don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars every single year for systems that you barely use, that are operationally inefficient, and bury you in hidden costs. I'll see you guys in the next video.